Welcome to video number 5 of the Android development stuff for Swinburne students. In this video we'll just have display what you and the computer both picked, so paper versus paper or whatever it was. Keep track of wins, losses and draws in a variable or a set of variables. Display those wins, losses and draws on the view and create a reset scores button. So we're just going to do these fairly basic things. So if you feel like you can go ahead and do these without reading any code that I'm going to do, feel free to do it and meet me at the next video. But I'll just quickly go through the process of creating this. So obviously we already have the paper, scissors, rock and the results field. So I'm just going to drag this results field down here and I'm going to drop in another text view called which I'll name wins, another one called losses, and another one called draws, and then finally a reset button. Okay, so we've just got to give each of these a string value for now, as well as we may want to we also need to set their IDs. So we'll just set the first one as text wins, the second one as text losses, and the third one as text draws, and the button as button reset. And obviously we just need to set the values for each of these as well. For the text views you really could leave them empty, but I'm going to put a string value in them just because you might as well. I just like getting rid of those warnings. But really you could just make them empty and leave it at that, because we're going to change that text anyway, so easy. Or the other thing you could do is just set them to an empty string. In fact, we might just do that. We might just set them all to hello world, the string hello world. You can reuse a string reference, so we'll just set them all to use that hello world string for now, and after they've run once, they'll be set to nothing. In fact, we might even change it so that on load it sets the values of all of these as one of the first things it does. So that's basically it. So we've got our paper, scissors, rock button. We've got our text result. So this is still our result field that will say you win or you lose. Although we'll change it so it says paper versus paper, you win, or a draw or whatever. And then wins, losses, and draws. And I've accidentally gone into the XML file, which is causing problems. I'm just going to save that, and now we're going to our Java file, and that's where the bulk of the work will be. Okay. Oh, we'll just set the on click for this reset button. So we might as well do that now. So we'll just set its on click to reset scores. Okay. So its on click event is reset scores, and obviously I'll copy that now so I can straight away use it in the JavaScript. Okay, in the Java file. Off we go. Okay, and so I'm just going to create that reset scores, an empty function, empty method here, just so that we don't get any weird errors. So I've put it up near the other clicked events. Just keeping them all together is a pretty good idea, so that you can easily see, oh, these are all the ones that buttons run, and then these are my own ones. Okay, so one of the first things that we need to do is display what you and the computer both picked. And so we're going to change this slightly, so that instead of just setting our move, it also displays what was versus what. So what our move resulted in and what their move resulted in. So we might just create our own little function to return a string for this. So we might create a public string what move, and it can expect an int move. So it expects an integer, and then it will return, you know, paper, scissors, or rock. So obviously this is just a nice switch statement, and each of the cases being, you know, paper, scissors, or rock. So case 1 is actually we'll just create a string up here. So we're just creating an empty string. So we can set it for each of these. You could return in them, but it's probably more problematic than need be at this stage. We'll just do it this way because it's an easier thing to follow at the moment at our current level. So we're just setting the text, this text variable, to whatever number 1 would be. So number 1 is paper, and so we'll just set this to paper and break so that it doesn't continue to run the rest of the code. Case 2, we'll set text, and I'll just copy paste. Text 2 is obviously scissors, and text 3 is rock. So, oops. Alright, so this means we can run this function, and after we put in our return statement, so our return, which means send back our text move, it means we can easily say grab whatever the move was and give me a text value of it. So we can easily we can easily get this value now. Okay, so now when we want to display our text, what we can do here is display their move, a text their move versus a text our move, just to make it all look nice. So what we'll do here is go string text our move equals, and then we'll run this other function, this other method that we've made. So we'll just copy and paste it. And so this will hold in it, after this runs, it will hold in it the text value, you know, either paper, scissors, or rock for our move, for my move. Okay, so we can pass through that int of what move we clicked on, and then we'll just copy and paste this, and we'll go text comp move, and we'll pass through the comps move, so whatever random number we generated. So now these will hold either paper, scissors, or rock, and paper, scissors, or rock. So in our display, we've got you won, you lost, or a draw, or just try again, which should never happen. And we can put in here, you know, text our move, and then the verse, text comp move, and then we just have to add some spacing, you know, so that we add another plus over this side so it concatenates. And so it will say something like scissors versus scissors, a draw, or scissors versus paper, a win. So we could also put in a little bit of extra text here, something like you versus, and then comp. And so now it will say something like you, scissors versus comp, paper, you won. Okay, so it's getting more of a full output. You'll notice we're all still doing this on the same page. We'll get to changing views in a later video, but for now we're just happy to do it all in the same view. Okay, so we've done that first bit of display what you and the computer picked. At this stage you could run your application just to check that it's all working well. The next part is to keep track of wins and losses. So what we're going to do is create class-wide variables. So just some ints for wins, losses, draws. Okay, so this is initializing those objects, and then what we can do is when the activity is loaded, so this onCreate is run when the activity is loaded. We'll go wins equals 0, losses equals 0, and draws equals 0, so that they're all initialized. Well, they're all initialized at 0. That's me running Windows 8 release client, so that wild pop-up was me bumping the Windows key. So wins, losses, and draws are now all set to 0 when our application loads. Now all we have to do is keep track of it. So basically, just whenever we win or we lose or we draw, we increment the number. So what we can do down here is, this first one is a draw. So I just put in a comment and say we'll make draws plus plus. So increment draws. This one is a win. So if my move is 1, if we were, what was it, paper, and they were rock, it's a win. Or so we'll do wins plus plus. So we'll increment it. Down here, if my move equals comp move plus 1, so if we were 1 better than the comp, it's wins plus plus, and then everything else is a loss. So this was a win. I'm just putting in the comment, and then everything else was a loss. So we'll do losses plus plus. So we'll increment that number, and now all we need to do is display it. So the display is fairly similar to our other display, except we have those 3 different areas that we want to display it in. So I'll do it all down the bottom underneath this, so that it's easy to see where it is when you're editing it, because you may want to move this to another view later. So what we'll do, of course, first is get our text views, and so I'm just going to copy this line, and we've got text wins, and then if you just delete this and then ask for the autocomplete, you can allow it to pop up. So we've got text wins with uppercase. So our object variable's lowercase, whereas our view object is uppercase, and that just allows us to easily see which is which. So we've got text wins, text losses, and again we'll just allow it to autocomplete. So if you just delete back to the full stop and then press the full stop, you should get a pop-up like this, and as you do text, you'll see your text losses, results, and wins. So these are obviously your view objects with IDs. So we're going to choose text losses, and then our final one, text draws. We'll just grab that, and we'll rename this one draws. Okay, so now we can easily set each of these, the text for each of these. So we'll do text wins dot set, and just waiting for that autocomplete so we can see we're on the right track. Set text, and we'll put in wins plus wins. So that's our variable plus our text. Now this isn't a string, it's an integer, so sometimes sometimes it may ask for some kind of conversion to happen there. I think that it will accept this because we're concatenating it, and so it kind of does an implicit conversion for us. But if it doesn't, if we get an error in a minute, we'll just go back and fix it. Okay, so I'm just going to copy and paste these and make the changes that are necessary. So we're changing it from text wins, text losses, text draws, and then wins, losses, and draws, and then our variables wins, losses, and draws. Okay, so these are our 3 variables that we've used, that we've incremented here, and that we've initialized up the top and set to 0 when our application loads. So as we play more games, they'll increment and update on the screen. Okay, so we've kept track of the wins, losses, and draws in variables. We've displayed them on the view, and now we just need to fill in that code for our reset scores button. So our reset scores button, we've already created up here the event that fires when it runs, and basically we're just going to copy this wins, losses, draws to 0 and paste it into that reset scores function. So when they click that button, it's resetting our wins to 0, our losses to 0, and our draws to 0. If you save and you've got no errors, we should be able to play and run that. And while that runs, I'll just copy this code into that JavaScript file. So I'm just going to copy this time the entire class, the entire main activity class. And so you could theoretically paste that over your whole file. And we'll have a look. So paper versus comp rock, I won. Scissors versus comp paper, I won. And so I can see my wins are incrementing, and if I just spam this for a bit, I don't lose very often. I seem to be quite good at this game. You can see that we're getting incremental. Then if I reset the scores, nothing happens. I must have done something wrong. I'll just quickly check. There's no refresh until I click another one. So then it refreshes. You could fix that quickly by copying this code up there. I'll let you do that in your own time. Or you could call a play game and pass it a non-value like a 4, and then it would give you the just try again, which would be interesting. But I'll let you do that refresh in your own time. Then in the next video I'll have one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in video 6.